Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Learn English with Podcasts. I'm Adam.
And I'm Sarah. Really glad you're here with us today. Before
Episode
we dive
16.
in, just
We're
a quick
continuing
note
our
for those of
phrasal
you
verb
watching on
series.
YouTube.
And today's
If
verb
English
is one
isn't
I
your first
personally
language,
find
you can
really
turn
interesting.
on the subtitles directly on the video. Real-time translation right there on your screen. It makes a big difference when you're learning. Break. Simple word, but the phrasal verbs built around
Absolutely.
it, they cover
Okay,
a lot
so
of ground.
today's verb, to break.
No, actually, thinking about it, break
A lot.
often comes
And the
up when things go
situations they
wrong.
describe, they're not always easy situations.
Or when something just falls apart.
Or when something ends.
Oh yeah? Tell me.
Exactly. And that's actually what made me think of something that happened a few months ago at work.
That's a good chunk of
So,
time.
I was part of a project team, a fairly big project, 6 people. We'd been working together for about 4 months. It is. And
That
things were
happens.
going okay. Not great, but okay. There were some tensions, different working styles, different expectations.
Broke down.
It does, but we were managing. And then, one day, the whole thing just broke down. Completely. There was a meeting, and it started normally enough, but
Like,
somewhere
not
around the
just a
middle
small
of it,
difference
2
of
people on the
opinion.
team completely disagreed on the direction of the project, and I mean fundamentally disagreed. Not at all. One person wanted to go in a very conservative direction, stick to what we knew,
And neither of
minimize
them was
risk.
willing to budge.
The other person wanted to take a much bolder approach, new tools, new methods, a faster timeline. Neither
That's
of
the
them.
worst
And
part.
the manager,
When the
he
conversation
tried to
itself
step in.
just
He really
stops
did,
working.
but it was too late. The communication had already broken down.
So,
Right.
what
It's
happened?
not even about the ideas anymore. It becomes personal. And once it's personal, it's very hard to recover. Well, after that meeting, things moved very fast. One of the 2
She
people who
exited
disagreed,
completely.
she decided she didn't want to continue. She went to HR. She formally broke off her
People
involvement in the
start
project.
questioning everything.
Completely. And that created a kind of chain reaction. Exactly. And then, 2 other people on the team started having
It
their
all
own
comes
issues.
out at once.
It turned out they'd had unresolved tensions for weeks. And when that kind of pressure breaks out, when it finally surfaces,
That
all
sounds
of it,
really
and
difficult
not
to
in a
navigate.
controlled way, in a very uncomfortable way, in front of the rest of the team. It was. And at some point, the manager called me in, just the 2 of
He
us.
trusted
And
you
he
to
said,
step
I
into that
need you to
gap.
break in here, to take the lead on the coordination side. I can't manage both the content and the team dynamics. He did,
Mentally,
and
I
I
mean.
appreciated that.
Even if people
But I
were
also
still
knew it
technically
was
on the
going to be
project.
complicated, because at that point, the team had already started to break up. Exactly.
And
You can
that's
feel
really
it.
hard to
People were
rebuild
doing
once
their
it's lost.
individual tasks, but the sense of shared purpose, that was gone. It is. We managed to
That's
finish
a
the
tough
project,
experience,
but barely.
but
And
also
the team,
a very
it
real
didn't
one.
survive.
A lot of people
After
listening
delivery,
right now have
everyone went their
probably
separate
lived through
ways.
something similar. And the language around it, the
I
phrasal
think
verbs,
so.
they capture
Teams break
exactly
down.
what those moments feel
Negotiations
like.
break off. Relationships break up. These things happen.
There really is. Okay, so we've been talking
That's what
around
I
these
find
verbs
so
naturally.
interesting about
And I think
break.
a lot of
It's
you
not a
already have a
neutral
sense of
verb.
what they
There's a
mean from
weight to it.
context. No pun intended.
But now, let's go through them properly, one by one, with definitions, examples, the full breakdown. Well, maybe a little intended. Let's get into the teaching section. So, 5 phrasal verbs with
They
break.
really do.
Let's go through
And I
each
think
one
what's
carefully.
interesting is
And
that
I
when
mean
you
carefully,
understand the
because
logic
these
of the
verbs,
particle,
they look
the
simple,
meaning
but
becomes
the
much
nuances
easier
matter.
to remember.
Exactly. So for each verb, we'll give you the definition, the examples,
Okay.
and we'll
First
explain
one,
what the
to
particle
break
is doing.
down.
Why down? Why out? Why in? That logic helps everything stick.
Right. The first one is very literal.
Break down.
When a machine,
This
a
is
car,
probably
a
the
system
most common
stops working.
one,
It
and
fails.
it has 2 main uses. For example,
We've
the
all been
equipment
there.
broke
The
down
projector
during the
fails right
presentation.
when you need it.
Very concrete. The machine stopped functioning at the
But
worst
the
possible
second meaning
moment.
is more abstract and honestly more powerful. When
Every
communication
time,
breaks
without
down, when a
exception.
process breaks down, when a relationship breaks down. And it's that second meaning that
is
comes
what
up
we
a
were
lot
talking
in
about in the
professional
anecdote.
English,
The
in
team
reports,
meeting.
in
The moment the
post-project
communication
analyses,
just
in
stopped
management
working.
conversations.
The communication broke down between the 2
Very
departments.
standard.
The
And the particle
negotiation
down,
broke
what's it
down
doing
after
here?
3 sessions. These are very standard professional phrases. Down gives the
Exactly.
idea of
Think
collapse,
of it physically.
something
A structure
falling,
collapses
something that
downward.
was
A
functioning,
system
going
degrades
lower
downward until it fails.
stops.
One more professional example.
So breakdown
Their
is
internal
the
processes
moment
broke
something
down when the
reaches
team
that
doubled in
lowest
size.
point. It can
Growth
no
can
longer
actually cause
function.
systems to break down. So, breakdown.
Absolutely.
To fail. To
Scalability
stop
is a real
functioning.
challenge.
Machines,
What works for 10 people
systems,
doesn't always work for 20.
communication, processes. The particle down equals collapse, deterioration, reaching a point of failure. Now, this one is interesting because it has a strong physical image behind it.
Good. Second one. To break out. It
But
does.
in professional
The original
and
meaning
everyday
is to
language,
escape,
it's
to
used
get out of
much more
somewhere by
broadly
force.
when
Think of a
something
prison
sudden
break.
and
Someone
uncontrolled
breaks out.
emerges. A dispute broke out between the 2 teams during the review meeting.
A fire breaks
Nobody
out.
planned
A conflict
it.
breaks
Nobody
out.
wanted
A crisis
it.
breaks
It just
out.
erupted. Like in the anecdote,
That's the key
the tensions
characteristic
had been
of
there
breakout.
for weeks.
It's sudden.
But the moment
it's
they broke out,
uncontrolled. It
it
comes
was
from
very
pressure
visible.
that's been building.
Another example. A fire broke out in the warehouse on the 3rd floor. Again,
Very
sudden.
visible and
Nobody
very
chose it.
difficult to
It
contain.
happened. Out means something is coming from inside to the outside, emerging, erupting outward.
And the particle out here
So,
right.
break
The
out.
tension was
Something
inside.
sudden
The conflict
and
was
uncontrolled
inside.
that
And then
emerges
it
or
breaks
erupts.
out. It surfaces.
The particle
It becomes
out
visible.
means something coming from inside to the outside, rapidly and without control. Now, this one has a very strong literal meaning: to enter somewhere by
Perfect.
force,
Third phrasal
without
verb.
permission.
To break in.
The intruder broke in
Think of
through
a
the
burglary.
back window.
Someone breaks
Very
in.
clear.
They force entry into
Physical
a building,
entry
a room,
by
a
force.
system.
Sorry to break in,
But break
I
in
think we need
also
to
has a
revisit that point.
conversational meaning.
You're entering
When
the
you
conversation
interrupt
by
someone,
force, in a
you
sense.
break into
You're
a
inserting
conversation.
yourself.
And in the anecdote, we used it in a slightly
That's a
different
nuanced
professional
use.
sense.
It
The
implies
manager asked
entering
me
a
to break
situation
in,
that's
to
already
step
in
into
motion,
a role,
not
to
from the
take
beginning,
over a
but
function that needed
mid-process.
someone.
And the particle in.
Right. You
It
break in
signals
when something
entry,
needs you to enter,
movement from
urgently,
outside
without
to
the luxury
inside.
of a smooth transition. Whether
Another
it's a physical
example.
space,
A
a
hacker broke
conversation,
into
or a
the company's
professional
database
situation,
last night.
in
Forced
means you're
entry,
entering,
digital this
forcefully
time,
or
but the
urgently.
logic is exactly the same.
So, break in, to enter by force, to interrupt, to insert yourself into a
Good.
situation that's
Fourth one,
already
to
underway.
break off.
The particle in equals entry, movement from outside to inside. This one is very clean, very
It's
precise.
used a lot in
To
formal
break off
professional
means
context.
to detach,
Negotiations
to separate
break off.
something sharply,
Talks break off.
to end
Partnerships
something
break
abruptly. The two companies broke off negotiations
There's a sense of finality
after failing
to it.
agree
it's not
on
a pause,
terms.
It's not a
One
delay.
party decided,
it's a clean
this
cut.
is over. We're ending this now. Exactly, and that's what the particle off
Think of it
is doing.
physically.
Off
If you break off a
suggests
piece of
separation,
something, it was
a
part
link
of the
that is
whole,
cut,
and now
something
it's not.
that was attached and is now detached.
She broke off contact with the supplier after the third missed deadline. She didn't just pause the relationship.
The connection
she
is
ended
severed.
It definitively. Is. You don't
And
always
in
have the
professional
luxury
life,
of a
that kind
gradual
of decision
exit.
matters.
Sometimes
Knowing when
you have
to break
cut
off
cleanly.
is a skill in itself. So, break off. To end something abruptly. To sever a connection. Negotiations,
Perfect.
relationships,
And
contact,
the last one,
partnerships.
to break
The
up.
particle off equals separation, a clean cut, detachment. To break
but
up.
in
Now,
professional
most people
English,
first learn
it
this
goes
one in
well
the context
beyond
of
that.
romantic relationships. They broke up. The couple separated.
The
much
team
further.
broke up after
A
the project
team
ended.
breaks up.
Everyone
A
went
company
their
breaks
separate
up.
ways.
A
The
meeting
group no
breaks up.
longer
A
exists as a
partnership
unit.
breaks up. And that's exactly
Emotionally,
what happened in the anecdote.
functionally,
The
the
team
cohesion
technically
was gone.
finished the project, but it had broken up long before the final delivery.
The particle
Right.
up
And
here is
break up
interesting
captures that
because
perfectly.
up usually
It's not just that
suggests
people
a
left,
positive
it's that
movement,
what held them
higher,
together
better.
disintegrated.
So break
But
up
in many
means
phrasal
breaking
verbs,
something
up
completely
actually
until there's
expresses
nothing
completion,
left to hold
the
together.
action going all the way to the end.
Another example. The board decided to break up the company into
The
3
separation
independent
is
divisions.
total,
A
not
structural
partial.
decision,
Total.
a total reorganization. So, break up, to separate completely, a group, a
Big
team, a
consequences,
company,
but
a relationship.
very clear
The
meaning.
particle up indicates completeness, the action carried through to the end. Break down, to fail, to collapse,
All right, let's
a
do
machine,
a quick
a
recap.
system,
5
communication.
phrasal verbs, all
Down
built around
indicates
break.
deterioration, reaching a point of failure.
Break out. Something sudden and
Break
uncontrolled
in,
emerges.
to enter
a
by
conflict,
force,
a fire,
to interrupt,
a crisis.
to insert
Out
yourself into a
equals
situation
something erupting
urgently.
from inside
In
to the
equals
outside.
entry, movement from outside to inside.
Break off. To end something abruptly. To sever
And
a
break
connection.
up. To separate
Negotiations,
completely.
partnerships,
A team,
contact.
a company, a
Off
relationship.
equals
Up
separation,
is the action
a clean
carried
cut.
all the way through, total dissolution.
Five
That's
verbs,
what makes phrasal
5
verbs
particles,
so efficient
5
once you
very
understand
different
them.
situations,
You learn one
and
root,
yet
and
they
you
all
unlock
come
an
from
entire
one single
family.
root word. Exactly. And if you want to test yourself on everything we covered today, there's a full
Don't
quiz
just
on the blog
listen,
article linked
test
below this
yourself.
episode.
That's where the
5
real
questions,
learning happens.
multiple choice, with detailed explanations for each answer. And all our episodes are available in a dedicated playlist just for phrasal
We're
verbs.
building
So
this
if you want to
series with
go
you.
back to episode
30
1
families,
or explore
one
any other
step
family,
at a time.
everything is organized and easy to find.
And we'll see you very soon for episode 17. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for listening today. Take care of yourselves.